Hello! We are back. We're here with Free Flow Friday. So,
Welcome again.
yeah, thank you
For those of you who joined already, and I hope you'll hop on again. We'll do it again.
Yeah,
And it's never the same, so that's the beauty of it.
It's never the same, and again, this topic is so important, and there's so much to dive into. So we really wanted to make sure we were able to cover everything and go into the depths of discussing depression. So
Tell me, Lola, how do you see it in your generation, millennials? How does it show up? So many people are talking about it.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's something that's just so prevalent. Like, it almost really can feel like that's the epidemic in a lot of ways, what's going on with our mental health, and whether it's anxiety or depression. I just feel like especially my generation and the younger generation
Gen Z?
Or Gen Z,
We
like
learned yesterday.
I know, like Mara and Joey. I think so often it comes from the lifestyles we live that really we were never really designed for. You know, we're not designed to be looking at screens all day, and especially my generation, the comparisons that go on, this need to look a certain way online, and all of that affects us mentally. And what we always talk about is like, it is just so interesting that here in, great, sound and image perfect, yay. Yeah, just that here in the West, we just take, right? It's like you're feeling this, you know.
Take a pill.
Yeah, and then
With depression, that's so interesting because in a way you're already numbed, and then the medication will numb you even more. So you don't really feel anything, and then it's even much harder to get in touch with yourself and know what's going on.
yeah,
Also for anxiety, it's just all being numbed instead of really looking at yourself, understanding it, and then you can make a change or practice yoga, practice Jinshin, and practice taking good care of yourself, which is so important.
yeah, and I think that's kind of the difference. The one side is, this feeling's wrong, this experience is wrong, so let me take something to cover it or mask it or numb myself to it, rather than the other side that's like, yeah, you have to bring it up, but then you can move it through you, you move through that emotion, the cycle, you feel it, but then you can actually release it.
And that's also important for another reason. When you take medicine, you suppress really what's going on with the medication. So kind of like you put a band-aid on the symptom. Well, if you work with something like the art of Jinshin, you're actually working with the cause. We're finding out cause. We're understanding the project, and then you can harmonize it, and it will actually clear up. If you just band-aid the symptom, it's gonna come up in another way or form later or in a different way, or you have to stay for the rest of your life in medicine.
Yeah,
So, boom,
yeah.
there. So I wanted to, I'm going to repeat the story that I told earlier, but
It's
about
such a
this
good story.
man that I was working with. I saw him, I was in an event with him that we had, a weekly event that we had, and I saw him, he was not into the art of Jinshin, so I saw him getting worse every week. He was red in the face, he would be out. I knew he was very, very depressed and on medication. And he was sitting there like a zombie with his red face, and every week it would get worse and worse and worse. And till one day I said, maybe I can help you. So he came to me for a session, and it was really critical. I listened to his pulse, and I never had felt anything like it. It was like a tightrope. It was very, very tight, and it could snap any minute. And that's exactly what I also saw in his body, like it could snap any minute. So on this one I did consult my teacher, Philomena, who I often consult. And we decided to work, of course, only with descending flows. So in this kind of situation where it's a critical situation and the energy is stuck above the waist, you want to bring the energy down. So I started with the left 14 flow, 14 here, which helps the brain. It has to do with our mind, and that's very good for depression. And for self-help, I wanted to show this to you, the Gallbladder Flow. When we work with depression, we're working with the phase flows, and there are 3 of them, and they are in the self-help in my book, The Art of Jinshin. It's the gallbladder flow, the bladder flow, and the stomach flow. All 3 start in the face and then move down. So this is the gallbladder flow, and I just want to show that to you. You see how it moves through the head, moves through the head and then down. So that's very important, because the other part of the depth 3, gallbladder is depth 3, is liver flow, which works a lot with the brain, but that's an ascending flow. So if somebody is very depressed, it's safer to do a descending flow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. And what you were saying earlier about the difference with, say, anxiety, well, that they are in a lot of ways similar, but that it can be ascending. Or you need it.
Yes, when I was working with Joey, who was having panic attacks about 10 days ago, he was shaking and all this anxiety and panic came up. I grabbed his little toes and he said, "It's gone." And the shaking just stopped. It just cut. And it was so bad, he was gonna call 911. So we kept him here and treating him, gave him a few sessions, and he was fine. But with this other man too, I would see him 3 times a week. He did the self-help every day. And in the beginning, it was a little bit of a pull. It was very, very hard to work through it. Then we went to twice a week and then to once a week, and he just stopped his medication and he was totally fine and happy. So it's dramatic what we can see happen when you're practicing. And so that's very exciting.
It's so beautiful.
So how do you know if you want to do stomach, bladder, or gallbladder? So if you are a person who has more digestive issues, you may want to do a stomach flow. I wanted to show the picture of the stomach energy here. You see how it moves through the face as well and brings the energy down. So so that's a very good one also.
I was just gonna say, and how about other types of depression?
There's chemical depressions, and that's very much when I would work with descending energies, bringing the energy down out of the head. They can be older or genetic, and you want to always bring the energy down. So
you go to the
I use the bladder, the gallbladder, and so these 3 phase flows are wonderful for that. And then go ahead.
No, when you said that, I resonated with it so much, that the 23s, because I think that's something so many of us feel. I feel that too. It's just like we carried so much there.
The 23s, that's the middle of the back.
Yeah.
And the 23 is at the level of depth 4. And on Wednesday I was talking about how many projects fall under the umbrella of depth 4. You can always put a project in the depth, and that will help you to resolve it. And there's so much information in The Art of Jinshin. It's a self-help book, but for example, you can look at if you in the afternoon, if you get like a low, you can see which organ function is peaking or at the lowest point, and it's the bladder energy.
Oh, that's interesting.
So look for that. So people with depression, if they dip in the afternoon, maybe they want to look early evening. They want to look at the depth 4 flows.
Yeah.
You see, so and 23, thank you, is the only SEL on the depth 4. So it's a very powerful one and a very important one. And a lot of people have back issues. So do you see how, if we talk about depression, how it becomes a whole discussion about a big discussion.
Right. And how it becomes something that each person can really like piece together their story and sit with, what depth it falls into, whether it's something that's more ongoing or it's related to, say, like right now with everything that's going on.
Yeah. We got a
Society.
message about that from somebody, and she said a lot of loss, and people are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you feel that, you may feel something on the right side of the body. It has very much to do with today's lifestyle and the way we're living, and loss. Is there a lot of sadness? Then you go and look at depth 2. Is there a lot of fear?
Wow.
Then we go look at depth 4. Fear 4. Is there a lot of loss and sadness? You know, that, like these kind of things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share with you a flow that's very helpful, and that one is not in the self-help materials, so that will be a special treat.
So take note.
Take notes. And I'd like you to see and check which side is tighter to you. And so I'm going to do the right side today, and for the live people, it will look like I'm doing it on my left. Okay, so
we'll do it
you can just see which side is tighter for you. And the 11s and 12s are very, very important for depression, because of course it moves the energy up into the head.
I love this.
Yeah, okay, so place one hand on the 11 or the 12. See where it's tighter for you. I just wanted to say another thing, and the other, here we'll go and practice, but I just want to keep talking for a little bit more. The other hand you place on the high 19, okay? So the 12s are very interesting. They have to do with thy will. It means surrendering and trusting, and us understanding that we can just be, and that we can trust that whatever is going to happen is going to happen, and we're okay. All right, so it has something to do with this, the 12, and the right 12 has to do with deep emotions, and the left side tells us about our destructive side. So just seeing that, you can see we just had some distraction there. The difference between the quality of the right side and the left side. So Mary has said, and I'm quoting Mary, the left side will get us in prison and the right side in the psychiatric ward. So that is just a very ballsy thing to say.
Yeah.
I was talking to Lola about that, is that explore for yourself. We were talking about that earlier. Because you may be very emotional and your left side is tighter. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's an art. Remember, it's an art.
Yeah, and that's why, again, it's like you learn and hear, and also at the end of the day always come back to your innate knowing and trust that you know exactly what your body needs.
So the high 19 helps to clear our emotional body, it helps to clear the chest line, and the 11 helps to clear the hip line, and the 12 helps to clear the waistline. The waistline has to do with our mind and our human beingness, and we get stuck in the middle. So if today you feel more like that, then hold your 12, and if you feel more the body, the technique, clearing the hip line, then you can hold the 11.
Could you hold both?
Yeah, you can hold both. I'm going into both, yes.
Yeah, okay.
See where the tightness is for you.
Yeah.
And you can point your fingers in, hook them in a little bit.
I like that.
Yeah? And then the second step is you're holding the pad of the thumb, which I'm going to just hold it, but I'm going to just show it. It's right here. SEL 18. And that calms the mind. So this is also a very nice flow when you're lying in bed. You can just lie on your side. This will be the first step, then this will be the second, and by this time you're starting to fall asleep.
Oh, yeah.
It calms the mind. This one is very good for insomnia as well, which sometimes we all suffer from at these times.
Yes.
Corona times.
Quite a bit.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear that a lot. And then we're going to move our hand from the 18 to the 21. 21 helps to balance mental, emotional stress. So that's also a very good one. So you see how this whole flow has a lot to do with our calming the mind.
Yeah.
This is also where the stomach flow begins. So that's again very helpful for depression as well. And for sure, if you meet someone with depression, or if you are depressed yourself, you're going to find a lot in your 11-12 area. And then SEL 20, which clears the mind. Again, a mind SEL. Also helps with mental clarity and focus. And of course, when you're depressed, also it's hard to focus.
Yeah, I feel that one.
You feel it?
Yeah.
That's a nice one. If this feels very high to you, like if you kind of feel like it's going up a little bit, it tells you that you're thinking a lot.
If it's high?
Yeah, if it kind of like, sometimes I see that on clients, like it sticks out.
Like you're
actually. We're looking
God.
at so many different levels.
Yeah.
So in the meanwhile, I hope you are enjoying practicing this flow with us, because I just keep talking.
I know. It does feel really nice.
Nice, right?
Nice to do it together.
And now we're going to bring it down. We're going to bring the hand from the SEL 20 to the bottom of the shoulder blade, which is kind of hard to reach, but you can,
If you want to show them.
You show it in low lights here. But for myself, I will use the back of my hand. So I can do it. If you can't reach SEL 9, you can move it a little bit lower, like a low 9. Okay, so that's possible to do. You can put your wrist in it. You see, we have to be creative. When you work with someone else, they're lying down and it's easy. And on yourself, the 9 and the 10 are hard to reach. So I'm using right now this part of my wrist, and I'm putting it on the low 9. And this feels really starting to feel really different right now. The 11, 12 is starting to open up. And then we're going to move, the last step is to move the hand from the 9 to the 15, which is the groin. And people are going to ask, I'm going to show. I couldn't see 15, so 15 is right here. You got it?
Perfect.
There, 15.
It's like the
Bringing joy and happiness and laughter into our life. And of course, that's the opposite of depression. My aunt was, when I first started the art of Jinshen, I went to Bonn, that was in 91, and my aunt was very depressed, and Philomena gave her 10 sessions, and she was just all better, and she had had a lifetime of depression. So over time, it started to come back and forth, but she's probably watching this, and she has the tools, but it was just really incredible to see. Sometimes we give 10 sessions and 2 a day, because but in the meanwhile, keep holding this. We give 2 sessions a day, because if you give someone a session, it takes it keeps the energy keeps moving for 8 hours. So that means if you give 2 sessions a day, the person doesn't have time to start building up the congestion again.
Right.
So you break it down, you break it down, you break it down, which is beautiful. For self-help, you can practice anytime. You cannot practice too much, so there's no time limit, which is nice.
All day long.
All day long, particularly now that we have more time.
Yeah.
Although we've been busy finishing up our textbooks. And
we have.
Right?
Yeah, I was just thinking how I even was learning about that, about the intensives where you do the 10 sessions, and that's for, very specific types of projects. We were talking about that in the textbook, and it's been an amazing project to be involved in, and just witnessing how much work has gone into it over the years. So, Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's coming out soon.
Very exciting.
So this flow, you can practice it twice. You can do it once on the 11, and then you can repeat the whole thing holding the 12. So play around with it. Yeah, you can hold 11 and 12 together, or practice the whole thing twice. So that's another way to.
Yeah.
So are there any questions?
Could diabetes 2, type 2, be a kind of depression?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google it after this. Good question. I'm gonna look it up and then I'll get back to you how we put it in Jinshin terms. I sometimes Google things, labels, and then I put the project in a depth. So I would do the same with this question. And
always learning and growing. I own your book, but I would love to have an image or picture of palming the calves.
okay, well, let's show it.
All right, yeah. Just for you. Okay.
It's like this. This is for the right side of the body, right on right. And then for the left
yes.
side, you can cross them. Okay, so it's very easy to do on yourself.
Yeah, and that's actually a good way of putting your feet up. I don't know, so you can
Yeah,
reach
that's
it
an
better.
easy way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we've covered most about depression today. If there's any more questions, then please contact us. Email Lola.
Email me. Yeah, we love hearing from everyone. And the other way, palming the calves. Well, you can switch it, right? Or you flip it the other way around.
Yeah. So anyway, contact us if you have more questions about that.
Yeah, and if you enjoy these, we have this amazing platform that, thank you, that was amazing. So glad, that we redid this. Thank you all for tuning back in. And just saying that we have this amazing platform that we house all of our material, and it's broken up into sections between courses. You can find past events we've done, our programs, and whether you're just starting your journey or you want to dive in deeper. And then of course, getting Alexis's book, which I know I saw someone ask a question about. You can find that either through our website or on Amazon very easily.
The Art of Jinshin. And the other one, you still have to wait a little bit. That's coming out soon.
That's also coming. Lots of books coming.
That was a surprise for me. You never know where life is going to take you. All of a sudden, I have 4 books out.
Yeah, oh wow. That's amazing.
All right.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And we'll be back. Alexis will be back Wednesday, the House of Jinshin. You can also, if you have a special request that you would like her to discuss then, that'd be a great time to submit your questions for. And then we'll both be back next Friday.
We love you all. Thank you for joining. And keep practicing.
Keep practicing. Bye.